This mid-morning, let's explore the 27th verse of the Song of Enlightenment and then meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This live stream is brought to you by the kind folks on Patreon who support the work I do. This morning we will chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. The moment a question occurs to you about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, immediately type your question in great detail in the chat window. Excuse me. My dragons are doing bold, and my tiger calming staff, with his two rings echoing on the trail. It is not for pointing out the mundane, but for pointing out the trunks of the Tathagata's own staff. Just as it is ineffective to use a wine glass to pound nails, it is likewise folly to use the Buddha's contemplative tool in the pursuit of worldly gain. And I think I'm going to turn the word tool into a plural. So, if you try to get rich by teaching meditation, you clearly haven't understood the teachings and you're going to do more harm than good. I'm reminded of a tale one of my teachers taught about a Tibetan Lama fleeing Tibet after the communist invasion. And, I should say the Chinese invasion. And he found himself in a country where he did not know the language. And so he just kind of figured he was going to die. He was going to starve to death. So he found a disused hunter's shack and started practicing and meditating. Just waiting for the inevitable. The hunters came, they saw him, they deduced, he seemed harmless. They couldn't communicate because they spoke in a different language, but they left the shack and returned to a local village. Upon arriving at the village, they notified a woman there who happened to be a polyglot, that there was a holy man living in their hunting shack. So, curious, she made the trek up the mountain. Following his centered spontaneity, his intuition, the Lama got up, walked outside the shack, and greeted the woman with the Tibetan words, and I translate into English, "Have you been having nightmares?" Well, the polyglot had been having nightmares. He interpreted them for her, and then she made a point to bring students to him and patrons to him, and she acted as his translator. My late teacher said that story proves that no matter how resigned you are to die, if your only desires are for the Dharma and for all living beings' well-being, you will survive. Now, I have many disabilities, and I'm already tremoring right now, so I'm not sure how many minutes I will be able to meditate with you. But I will meditate with you for as long as I can. Okay, here we go. In this text that I've named the Secular Meditations of Loving Kindness, True Knowledge, and Liberation, consists of my adaptations of the teachings found in both the Anapanasati Sutta as well as the Metta Sutta. That gives us a total of 24 techniques, which could really feel overwhelming. So think of it as merely 6 sets of 4 techniques each. Our first 4 techniques are going to be contemplations of love. Now, what are the 4 bases of mindfulness? They are the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. So let's lovingly wish that all beings experience very great circumstantial good fortune as silently, let's rephrase it. Let us wish that all beings experience great boon. Boon, of course, is the one-syllable synonym for good fortune. So let's sit as straight as we can. As we breathe in, let us silently and mentally recite the noun boon. And as we exhale, let us silently recite the noun all. So you can think of it this way. Italic word, breathe in. Bold word, breathe out. Our job is not to try to change reality. We're not trying to work magic or be Gandalf the Grey. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just not what we're doing. All we're doing, so we're not trying to emote or intend, we're not trying to emote or believe or visualize. All we're doing is silently and is coordinating the silent and mental recitation of 2 words with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. That's it. And ironically enough, just doing that will strengthen our neural pathways responsible for empathy. Let's play with this right now. We switch gears to the physical and wish optimal health for all beings of all worlds, real or imagined. We switch gears now to the interpersonal, and we lovingly wish that all beings experience loving relationships, professionally, personally, platonically, and intimately. You could think of it as wishing love for all. We conclude this first set of 4 exercises by wishing wisdom for all. I think I should put the phone in do not disturb mode. We come now to our second set of 4 exercises. The common denominator for this set is that they are going to serve as the preliminary practices to center our bodies. Our evolution has wired us in such a way that every exhalation tends to be, well, I should say, our naturally occurring and unmodified exhalations tend to be longer than our inhalations. And these exhalations are an excellent opportunity for us to experience relaxation. In fact, we have evolved in such a way that every exhalation accesses our parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So all we're going to do during the inhalation is silently and mentally recite the 1-syllable verb, breathe. During our exhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable adjective long by silently and mentally reciting these words in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. We will progress upon the path of peace. We come to the second exercise of our second set. During the inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable adjective short. During our exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable noun breath. Doing so can remind us that of two things. Number one, that inhalations tend to be shorter than exhalations naturally. And number two, that a sharp inhalation can be invigorating, which is useful if you're experiencing drowsiness at a dangerous time, like if you're driving in traffic. We come to the third exercise of our second set. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb taste, excuse me, which functions as a metaphor of noticing. During our exhalation, we can recite the one-syllable noun form, excuse me, which functions as a simile for body. Allow me to remind you that we've evolved in such a way that every inhalation accesses our sympathetic nervous system in the manner that is optimized for perception. Optimized that we perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. But perceive what? Perceive everything. Sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, as well as emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We are wired to notice, but we are not wired to concentrate. What, you might ask? What is the difference? Concentration is active, mindfulness is passive. Concentration is rigid, mindfulness is flexible. Concentration chooses one thing and excludes everything else. Mindfulness is completely open to whatever the present moment brings us, whether it brings us something that is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. Sometimes what we notice will be in the background. Sometimes it'll be in the foreground. That's fine. Persist with this mental recitation of these two syllables in harmony with your breathing, and simply do your best to enjoy the show. Due to some chronic health challenges on my part, we're going to have to make the fourth exercise of the second set this mid-morning's final meditation exercise. I apologize for the shortened practice. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite the one-syllable noun form. Which functions as a synonym for body. During our exhalation, we can recite the one-syllable verb, ease, which functions as a synonym for relax. Now here's the cool thing. Really pay attention to this. If we try to force our body to relax, it is counterproductive. There are two paths, yang and yin. Yang is for cranky bastards who are controlling. Yin is for people who wish to be laid back. So we don't have to force our bodies to relax. Why? Why not? Why don't we have to? Because we evolved in such a way that every exhalation would automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is already wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So, for the next few minutes, let us coordinate our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation with a silent and mental recitation of form, ease. Thank you for joining me for this short mid-morning meditation. This meditation has been brought to you by the kind folks who support me on Patreon. If you feel that I have earned it, please type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. In approximately 3 1/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead this afternoon's meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.